Hello and welcome to BQ Prime. A very good morning to all the viewers. But first, let's pick up what's happening in terms of global markets across. In more international news, you have military that interception that are maneuvers by Chinese ships and planes that are suggesting growing aggressiveness from Beijing and a risk an accident that could result in injury, according to the White House. In fact, the warning comes after a Chinese warship has crossed the bow of an American warship in the Taiwan Strait on Saturday. So that is something, probably that could have an impact coming in there in terms of where the warnings are growing on the aggressiveness that is being used by China. Moving on, you have the US SEC that is accuses Binance and its CEO of mishandling customer funds. Now, this is going to be big news in terms of where the markets are concerned and what's the impact is going to be interesting for us to watch out for. After the news of the SEC action against Zhao, Bitcoin actually fell as much as 6.5%. And this is the lowest since April as well. So that's what we are picking up in terms of where the crypto world goes. Moving on, you have Apple, which has actually launched Vision Pro headset. This is priced at $3,499 and they will be going on sale next year. In fact, it this is one of the products that actually it unveiled, and this was a long awaited one as well. Moving from there on, the company has also debuted a 15.3-inch MacBook Air, which sports the M2 chip and offers 18 hours of battery life. So, good news in terms of all the technology buffs out there. There is a new product for you to look at in terms of Apple. So, these are a few of the global headlines that we're tracking. But let's quickly move on to in terms of what the global markets were looking like in yesterday's session. Overall, there was some bit of pressure that we did pick in terms of global markets. So if you see the US markets on Monday, Dow, S&P both saw cuts in the range of 3 tenths to 0.5%, and you have Nasdaq, which also ended marginally lower, but it was pretty much on the flat line. Clearly, if you see in terms of the stock futures in today's session, they are slightly lower, and this is it's basically the evening rally that we've seen on the futures as well that is taking a breather. So that's going to be interesting in terms of what's the impact it has in terms of domestic markets. If you see in terms of Asia as well, they have been largely trading lower, but that's clearly taking cues from what's happening on Wall Street. And Australia's central bank decision is something that is eyed. Let's quickly pull up the SGX Nifty as well as we speak and see what SGX Nifty is indicating in trade. There you go. A cut of almost 1 tenth of a percent coming in there, but we are at those levels of 18,700. So that's where we could see Indian market starting. Now, whether it's going to be sustainable or not is something we need to see. Or do we see some bouts of profit booking that come in our trading session? A lot of newsmakers that will be in focus. But before that, let's quickly look at the trade setup in today's day. Clearly, if you see in terms of the Nifty, it has moved its base from levels of 18,000 to 18,150. Now, what is this telling you? That this is the clear support level that we are seeing now at 18,150, and investors are not really seeing, or analysts are not really seeing, any further pressure below those 18,150 to 18,000 levels. And there could be some near term resistance that could be coming in at higher levels, but those will be at around 18,700 and 18,800 in day today. If you see in terms of the open interest as well of the puts, they've already started to rise in the June month expiry, right from 18,100 to 18,200 and then 18,300. So that's giving you an indication as well. So there you go. The highest put OI is at 18,500, which is then followed by 18,600. And on the call OI as well, it's 18,600 to 18,700. So that's the broader range that we are seeing. And the final push will come once we actually see the 18,500 puts get written off. That's what this data means in terms of the highest put OI. Now, moving from there on, if you see in terms of the support as well, 18,571 is the clear support, followed by 18,548. On the resistance ends, we will be watching out for 18,628, which is then followed by 18,668. So these are key levels we will be watching out for as well in terms of Nifty. But moving on, if you see in terms of Bank Nifty as well, it surpassed actually levels of around 44,029. So that's becoming the key support level now for Bank Nifty. And on the resistance, the first level we will be watching out for is 44,220. Now, participation from Bank Nifty is also going to be crucial because last couple of weeks we have been seeing consolidation in terms of Bank Nifty. But if this consolidation continues, the time for Nifty to reach new record highs is going to take some time. So that's what the technicals, as well as if you see in terms of the levels, that's what the markets are indicating today. But clearly, it seems to be a slightly flattish day of trade from the way global cues have panned out, from the way Asian markets are trading, and the indications that we have been picking up from SGX Nifty. But let's quickly move on to stock specific action now. To start off with, you have Adani Group of companies that will be in focus in today's session. In fact, they've completed the $2.65 billion deleveraging plan, and their cash balances have now also gone up. In fact, the cash balances of the listed portfolio has risen to $4.75 billion in FY23. That's what the company has indicated. Overall, if you go to see the combined portfolio level as well, the cash balance and the free flow from operations were pegged at around 77,889 crores, and this is higher than the debt maturity cover for FY24, 25, and 26, respectively. In fact, the group has also made prepayment of the margin linked share backed financing, which totals to around $2.15 billion. They've prepaid the debt they had taken for the Ambuja cement acquisition. Due to this now, the net debt to EBITDA that has fallen to 2.81 times from a 3.2 times in FY22. So overall, this is going to be good news for the Adani Group of companies. There could be some bit of momentum and confidence that the investors will start seeing again in trade today. So watch out for the entire pack from Adani Enterprises to Adani Ports, to Adani Total Gas, Wilmer, all of these counters, ACC, Ambuja will be in focus. In fact, one disclaimer: AMG Media Networks, a subsidiary of Adani Enterprises, holds 49% stake in Quintillion Business Media, the owner of BQ Prime, what you're watching currently. So that's with regards to Adani Group of companies. But moving on, you have Wipro. That's going to be an interesting counter to watch out for. In fact, we just had an analysis done yesterday with regards to the way IT has made a comeback since April lows, and it's up almost 10 to 11%. Yes, the participation with regards to where IT majors go is pretty lower in terms of the Nifty move, but you have Wipro, which is seeing that uptrend now as well. In fact, the board has gone ahead and approved a 12,000 crore share buyback. The price is fixed at 445 rupees per share. Record date is the 16th of June, and they're expected to complete the buyback by end of July 2023. What this would mean, we'll give you more details in future in the coming shows, but clearly an up move seen in terms of Wipro as well. Now, how the stock price reacts to this is going to be interesting to watch because clearly, if you go to see yesterday's session, the stock ended flat with almost a 1% change that we saw in terms of where the open interest goes. Now, apart from that, we have the record date which is announced. And since the announcement of the buyback, if you see the way Wipro has performed, the stock is up almost 8% there. Now, the premium over the offer price, if you see, that's almost a 10% premium that we're picking up so far as per yesterday's session. And the promoters have also indicated their participation in the buyback. And because of which, if you see the minimum AR, that is quite low at around 4.4%. So that's the average returns that we're looking at as well. Moving on, apart from Wipro, let's see what the impact it has on the other IT players. But you have SBI cards that will be in focus, and this is on the back of the fundraising plans. In fact, the board has gone ahead and approved a raise of almost 3,000 odd crores through NCD. So watch out for SBI cards in trade. Allcargo Logistics is another one. Transindia Real Estate has agreed to further divest 10% stake each in five of the subsidiaries of Allcargo and a 100% stake. So clearly, if you see in terms of Allcargo, that has been their operation and strategy as well. That they wanted to go ahead and get the other players to divest their stake, and they're seeing how they can consolidate overall in terms of businesses. This is something that could augur well for all cargo logistics because clearly yesterday's session as well, you had all of these logistic companies which did see a good run. So probably that could continue for a second consecutive session. Moving on from all cargo logistics, an interesting counter is Bharat Forge. Now, yesterday If you see, Bharat Forge and Ramakrishna were in focus, and this was mainly on the back of the Class 8 trucks, numbers that were announced. May was pretty good, and now this is more of a leadership kind of an impact that the stock could have. Now, 53.5% of the institutional investors have voted against Baba Kalyani's reappointment as MD. If you talk about the non-institutional, 99 have voted in favor, and promoter groups have voted 100% in favor. So overall, BN Kalyani has received 75.44% of the total votes in favor of reappointment. Now, what this would mean overall is how the stock reacts to this in terms of the reappointment for Baba Kalyani. So that's going to be an interesting one to watch out for. Moving from Baba Kalyani, you have Chalet Hotels. Now, they have launched 168 room Westin High Tech City Hyderabad Hotel. Now, interesting is the property is 100% sold out. They have a 3-year period corporate tie up. In fact, I was reading a DART report which said that, channel checks are indicating that it's Deloitte who has gone ahead and booked the hotel for 3 years. So, this is going to be an interesting play because what they've said is that the existing hotel which they have, which is Westin Mindspace, they had an ARR of around, say, little uh, close to 9,750 odd crores, an occupancy of around 69%, and a revenue par of around 6,600 rupees. Now, this new hotel will also have a comparable number as per the old hotel, and because of which they are expecting the payback period in that range to of around 3 to 3.5%. And post tax, it will go up to around 4.5%. DART has again reiterated a buy, and they have a target price of 495 on the counter. So watch out for Chalet in trade today. Moving on, apart from Chalet, you have IEX that will be in focus. The company has reported a volume of almost 8% gain in terms of volumes, and the market clearing price has declined around 30%. Now, what this would mean clearly is going to be interesting to watch out for because it's a very mixed number coming in there. Volumes, single digit growth coming in, but the price decline is 30%. So let's see how the markets actually take IEX in trade. Moving on, JK Cement is another one we will be looking at as well. And this is on the back of the acquisition that they've made. Now, they've got the in principle approval to acquire Toshali, and they will be acquiring management control and hold 100% of the paid up capital. The total cost is 157 crores. Now, this will help them expand their capacity, number one. Secondly, the footprint that they have in the eastern region is low. And with the acquisition of Tashali, they will be able to expand their footprint in the eastern region as well. So, this is something that could give a boost to JK Cement as well. And in fact, ahead of the monsoons, you have cement companies which are always in focus. In fact, yesterday we did get you a report as well, which was clearly indicating that the volume growth is expected to be strong. How the price trend pans out is something we will watch. So that's with regards to JK Cement. And very lastly, landmark cars will be in focus, and that's not only today, but this month will be interesting to watch out for because overall, the company which listed on the 23rd of December, they will have 52% of its equity unlocked and available for trading from the 22nd of June. Now, the stock has increased by almost around 33 to 34% if you see from its offer price, which was at around 506. The stock is now trading at around 677. Yesterday's session, we did see a degrowth of around 1.5%. So, what reports are indicating, analysts are indicating, is the stock is unlikely to see any selling pressure once its equity actually gets unlocked. So, that's another one that we will be watching out for. So, clearly, a lot of movers and shakers in trade today, a lot of stock specific action is what we are looking out for. In fact, you will be able to catch Rahul Chadda from Mirai Asset Global Investment at 10 o'clock on Talking Point. Nilesh Jain will join us for Trade Talks at 3:15 to give us a technical analysis of markets and what's in store from here on. Moody's will be joining us to give us the India growth story at 11:30. We have Steve Cochrane will be joining in. And you have TCI Express. As we mentioned, logistic counters have been in focus. So what's the step from here on? What the dedicated freight corridor would mean from them? Chandar Agarwal from TCI Express will be joining in. And we have Naveen Sahadev from ICICI Securities who will be joining in to discuss the entire cement pack and what's in store. So lots more lined up on BQ Prime. Please stay tuned today. You'll get lots to watch And clearly, the markets seem to be in consolidation. There could be some bit of selling pressure or a flattish move that could be on the cards. That's all that we have from this side. Thank you, and please stay tuned.